Crashing with Friends Podcast.
Hello, welcome to Crashing with Friends Podcast. I'm your host today, Jackson Brayman. Over to the far right of me is Keifer Chase.
Hello.
In the middle, he's wearing floral. It's Connor.
That's me.
And look at this guy. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's heading towards the Pentagon. It's Kyle Hobbs.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good.
Pretty good.
All right. Well, welcome to Crash with Friends Podcast. Like and subscribe. And, let's go ahead and get into it. Kyle, how's your week going?
It's been a really good week, man. Watched that show Jury Duty this week.
Ooh, me too.
It was really good. It's a newer version of like the Joe Schmo show, pretty much. It was just a full jury duty case, but everybody was actors besides one guy, and he was just same thing with Joe Schmo show. The guy turned out to have like a heart of gold and just turned out to be a really good dude and like an understanding kind of dude, and was perfect for the cast of what was happening.
Man, some of the hijinks they got on that show were nuts. Dude.
Some of the funniest stuff I've seen, man. Like the guy that had the chair, he had those crutches strapped to his butt cheeks.
Yeah.
So that every time he needed to sit down, it just perfectly,
Yeah, they would just plop down.
Is that what that's from? I saw like a clip of that somewhere.
Yeah, dude, it's so ridiculous, dude. It's so funny. It's a good show though.
He's trying to get into like a vehicle, and he's like, "Damn to do this." He's like, "You all right?" He's like, "I'm good." Okay.
Yeah. If you like Joe Schmo show, you'd love Jury Duty. It's so good, man.
Dude, my favorite part is like when homeboy like hurts himself, right? Like he falls backwards and hurts his back. And right before that, he tells the guy that's like not in on any of the stuff, he's like, "I'm gonna go rub one out." And he's like, "Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, man." And then he gets hurt. Later on, they're doing like the thing like where all of them are grouped together.
The testimonials.
Yeah, the testimonials. And everyone is like saying such nice things about this dude. And like one Asian guy is like, "He gave me a little crane made out of paper. I'm going to cherish this thing forever." And then like, it like shows like the guy that's not in on the joke shows his face, and then it just goes back to that that first interaction the only interaction he's had with them, and he's just like, "I want to go rub one out." Everyone has all these nice things to say about him, but his only interaction is, "I want to rub one out."
Right. Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
It's a good show. Check it out. It's really funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. The other thing I've been doing this week is playing Final Fantasy 16. Really loving that game. The combat is just so much fun. It's got such a fun combo system. Story is great so far. I like how gory it is. There's a lot of people get beheaded. There's some cool deaths that happen.
I like beheadeds.
Yeah, it's not your typical Final Fantasy game, man. It's definitely rated M for mature.
That's a new one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's pretty intense. I really like it a lot. But other than that, just playing disc golf, trying to get better, and that's really been my week. Nice. What about you, Connor? How's your week going?
It's been good. Yeah. We went and played disc golf on Sunday. McClellan had a good time with that. It's me, Kyle, and Jack. Yeah, I was kind of, wondering what to do with BattleBots being over. So I started watching Demon Slayer again. Turns out there was seasons 2 and 3 that I hadn't watched yet, so I watched both of those. Pretty good. Feel like sword action. But season 3 kind of ends weird, where they're all just saying "thank goodness" a bunch. So that was kind of weird. But yeah. But yeah, going back to last week when I was talking about Fast 10, I just want to clarify, when I was saying Jason Momoa is the devil, he does actually say that to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He says the devil is coming for you, talking about himself. So I just wanted to clarify that to anybody that listened last week and was like, Connor thinks that he's the devil. Like, what is going on?
Some conspiracy nutters out there?
I'm just,
like-
I just, wanted to clarify because
People think you're Bobby Boucher's mom.
maybe, I don't know.
Jason Momoa is the devil.
Pretty much, yeah. If you listen to the theory from last week, it does all add up. I just want to, just drive home every detail of that. But yeah, it's been a good week. Work was easy. Gearing up for the long weekend. Ready to play some more Final Fantasy 16. Loving that game. The Garuda fight is where it really hits hard for me personally.
That Garuda fight is next level.
Pretty sweet. The whole time I was watching, I'm like, Godzilla wishes he was this cool. God. They can't do this. But yeah, I was having a good time with it. But yeah, just ready for the weekend. Haven't watched the Silo finale yet, but I'm really excited for that. It just came out today.
So you've been watching it?
Yeah, I'm caught up. There's only one episode left, and I'm gonna watch that later. I would have watched it already if it wasn't for the gumbo that I was making earlier, which I think it turned out pretty good.
So what would you say your gumbo level is right now? What kind of gumbo artisan are you?
A journeyman.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not apprentice. I'm not a master.
So
Is journeyman higher than apprentice?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So yeah, because I've made enough gumbo now that I'm not just like, hey, I'm gonna try making gumbo. Like I know the process now. So I still have to follow the recipe, obviously, but it's like I know what I'm doing. So yeah, but no one's perfect, especially not the guy that's only made it like 5 or 6 times. So I can't claim mastery on something like that by any means.
Oh, I mean, even just having it this time, I can tell it's better than it was last time.
Right.
And
I could tell based on my recipe, I'm like, man, some of these portions are off just based on like other portions that I was throwing in there. I'm like, I shouldn't be throwing this much garlic in there. I could tell certain things. I'm like, so I kind of changed a few things this last time, kind of make it even out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because, when you cooked enough, you can tell whenever you're putting too much of something in there or just, I don't. Maybe if you're not a good cook, you can probably tell like there's too much salt or something, But yeah, I'm enjoying the gumbo game. It's solid. I think one of these days I'm gonna hook a lady with it. She's gonna try it and be like, "Damn!"
She's like, he's got some gumbo game.
Yeah, you a gumbo player. But yeah, it's a good week. I'm ready to play some more disc golf this weekend and watch all the fireworks and say bang a bunch.
Yeah, I'm ready to see some fireworks for sure.
But yeah, that's about it for my week. What you got, Keifer?
Well, I didn't work the whole week. I was off Thursday because my daughter had to get tubes put in her ears, but that went okay. She acted completely normal afterwards, so that wasn't a big deal. I've talked to Kyle a little bit about it. I'm pretty excited about Starfield, so I've been trying not to think about it, but I can't not. So I've been playing Outer Worlds. I bought it years, like 2019 when it came out, but I never played it. So I've been replaying it now. And it's pretty good. I'm actually surprised, like, especially after playing like Fallout 4 so much, I can tell a huge difference between a narrative-driven RPG and then just an RPG. This game is way better than Fallout because there's actual like choices to be made. I felt like Fallout 4, especially if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what you choose on the dialogue wheel. Pretty much the same thing happens regardless.
Bummer. Okay.
Yep.
In this game, there's like
people.
Yeah. In this game, it's like depending on what your skills are, will depend on what you can do and say, and that will affect it. So like I was playing it the other night, and this lady locks herself into a door, and then the guy who has the key gets himself killed, so you have to go find his dead body. But because I had like a 50 science skill, I was able to tell her how to unlock the door from the inside, so I didn't have to go look for the dead guy. I was like, that's cool. That's not in Fallout. Fallout would just make you go find the dead dude and get the key and come back. So it's pretty fun. And then I watched a movie called Level 16, which is freaking nuts. This girl that we work with, she suggested it, and we watched it, and it was weird. I don't know if you guys ever want to watch it or not. I mean, I could spoil it for you if you want me to.
Level 16.
Give us a little breakdown. I mean, what's
So,
it about?
It's essentially about these girls that are in like a sort of boarding school, I guess, but it's like super strict, and they're there to learn the feminine virtues. It's really weird from like when they're little tiny kids to like teenagers, and then they're supposed to be learning all this stuff, and then whenever they graduate, these sponsors will come and adopt them and put them in a family or whatever. So they want to be the best girls they can be, so they get adopted by a really great family, except it ends up horrific. It's pretty wild. Like it because we were talking about like movies at work the other day. I was talking about movies like Inception, where you get to the end of the movie and you're like, and then she's like, well, you should watch Level 16. It kind of has an ending like that. And I was watching it and I was like, it's okay. And then it got to the end and I was like, what the fuck? It was pretty crazy. I would suggest watching it. It's not like the best movie ever, but it's pretty good.
What would you give it out of 10?
Maybe like a 6 or a 7. I feel like the beginning's kind of slow in explaining what it is, but then toward the end, just stuff starts happening. But it's pretty good.
Might have to get that to check out.
Yep. But other than that, nothing really. Just ready for 4th of July. Blow some stuff up.
Oh,
Eat some food.
Hell yeah.
Shove him up a bullfrog's ass.
Jackson, how's your week going, man?
Oh man, it's going all right, dude. Watched Jury Duty like you did, and it was fantastic. Think I'm pretty close to the end of Tears of the Kingdom. I've done all the temples, so I think all I have. I'm not sure how many more boss fights I have.
All how many temples?
I've done the Wind Temple, Fire Temple. Most recent one I completed was the Lightning Temple.
Okay.
I know there's another one. What's one am I missing? Water Temple. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there's like some more boss fights, or maybe another boss fight.
There's some
before
more
you're done,
stuff.
so,
I won't ruin it for you, but yeah, you're close.
yeah. I was like, so I beat all the temples, so I was like, man, I got to be close to the end now. So
Did you beat all the temples though?
I beat the Lightning Temple. That was the last one I beat. And was that all the temples? Am I missing the temples?
I only heard 4 temples though.
How many more temples are there?
I'm not gonna ruin it for you.
You suck a duck.
But I'm not gonna have my friend thinking that he beat all the temples when he didn't beat all the temples. Is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, there you go. I have not beat all the temples yet. I'm close to the end.
Yeah, you are close to the end though, for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much been my week. Get your hands off my mic.
People want to see that face.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, man, I hide it. Phantom of the Opera, like, hide at least half of my face. Phantom of the Megaplex, if you're a Disney Channel original movie guy. So,
Mask of the Phantasm, Batman, right?
Yeah. Keifer, you've been working on some new music.
Kind of. So the song that I gave you is really old idea, but we recently redid it. And it sounds way better now, but I probably haven't worked on music in a few months now, but a lot of the stuff that we have done is just already done. And so Kanan texted me the other day and he's like, hey, I think we have enough music for another EP if you want to do that. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. He's like, can we do it before, like, can we release it on July 4th? And this was like earlier this week. I was like, dude, it takes like 2 weeks for that crap to get approved. I was like, it won't be able to. He's like, well, if we're not in a hurry, we'll just make sure everything's good. Just try and release something by the end of July. So that's the plan as of now. But I gave Kyle a song that I guess we're going to listen to.
So before we play it, is it just you and Kanan on this album, this EP that's going to come out?
Yeah, a couple of the songs me and Kanan... All the song, well, like 3 of the songs me and Kanan did together. 2 of them I wrote. 1 of them he wrote and I played guitar on. And then I think there's going to be like 2 or 3 more that just Kanan did because they're more like electronic, sort of.
What song would you recommend for someone who's looking for a lot of bass?
Oh, I think there's a song on there called... Oh, what is it called? Shit. You just sent it to me the other day. I can't believe I can't remember this crap.
You done send him down a rabbit hole, Connor. He's got to find out. We're going to get the answer.
When I Feel Good Enough is
When I
pretty cool. The way Kanan sings, and when the new album comes out, you'll hear some of the stuff because Kanan sings a lot more in this one. It reminds me of like Marilyn Manson. If you like that kind of like singing, it's kind of like that. I enjoy it. I think that it sounds really cool.
Sweet. Well, what's the name of this song you wanted to play today on the podcast?
Cherokee. So I want to write a song about my Jeep Cherokee because I had a really cool Jeep Cherokee. It was my first car. And then when I started writing the song, I was like, it's kind of lame to just write about a car. So then I was like trying to think of something like with Native Americans or whatever. And then I was like, oh, it might be cool to try and write a song about the Navajo code talkers in like World War II or whatever.
Nice. I was kind of like fingers crossed that you're going to be like, this is going to be like the going back to the Indian War, but I'm giving all of them Jeep Cherokees. Instead of horses, they're getting Jeep Cherokees, and they're fighting with those now.
So it's sort of loosely based off that, but I felt like Cherokee sounded better singing-wise than Navajo, so I was like, I don't care if it's like historically accurate. If you understand the premise, you can connect it.
You could have called the song Navajo Uaho or something.
He could have, but didn't.
I don't know if the song's about hoes or not. So
is it, Keifer?
It's not.
It didn't sound like it. It didn't sound like there would be a hoe in that song. But let's go ahead and find out what this track sounds like.
All right, this is Cherokee.
Bye.
Social Survivor.
Working for
was rad.
That was
Cool.
sick.
Thanks.
Yeah. That was rad.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of, I mean, I don't know a whole lot of their songs, but it reminded me a lot of like old or Our Lady Peace. I'm not sure if you ever listened to them. Freaking. They did some music for like some wrestlers back in the day whenever I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is dope.
So the one I sent you, it says Cherokee and then it says Creative Liberties. I don't know if you saw that afterward. So basically I sent Kanan what I had and then he sent me back a balanced version of it. He like mixed it and everything and I was like, it sounds good. I was like, I feel like it's just missing something. I don't know. It just doesn't feel very good. And he's like, okay, I'll mess around with it some. And then a few weeks went by and I hadn't really heard from him. And then he sent me that, and when I sent it to him, it didn't have the radio stuff at the beginning where it's like the tuning of the radio, and the chorus didn't have him screaming in the background. So the initial part of the chorus, Kanan's like screaming, and then I come in singing Cherokee or whatever. That wasn't a part of the original song, but Kanan's really good at just adding stuff, and most of the time I'm just like, yeah, that's great. Just keep that.
Layering it on.
I don't even tell him what to do anymore. Like, I'll just write guitar parts, and I send it to him, and then I'm like, I don't care. Because he's really good at bass guitar and stuff. I'm like, do whatever you want with it because it almost always is awesome. Unless it's like an old song that I have like specifically a part that I want, I normally don't tell him anything. I'm just like, do whatever. I don't care. And it turned out really good. That screaming part where Kanan's screaming reminds me a lot of Hey Man, Nice Shot by Filter. Mm-hmm. Whenever he did that, I was like, I was listening to it, and as soon as I heard him come, I was like, oh, that's so good. It was cool. It was cool because it was surprising to me. I'm normally not surprised by my own stuff because I've listened to it like a million times before I ever show anybody else. So him sending it back to me with a whole bunch of new stuff, I was like, this is freaking cool. So I'm glad you liked it.
I can see some girls like in a mud pit discovering their sexuality to that song, you know, like for real.
Yeah, like the music video to, was it Click Click Boom by Saliva? Or everybody's like outside at that like weird music festival and people are driving cars in the background and shit.
I can see it.
How much would I have to pay you to replace Cherokee with Crashing with Friends and just clip out a 30-second clip of that? How much would I pay you for that?
I mean, I don't know that you'd have to pay me. I'd have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, that was rad. Dude, that was heavy.
I think you could have went with Navajo. I know you said it didn't really sound as good.
Yeah, I think it was just because I had it in my head that it was going to be Cherokee, and so it just didn't sound right any other way.
It's gotta be Cherokee, yeah, if you had it, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it necessarily would have sounded any better or worse. I just think that was what was there, and I was just like, nope, that's what it's got to be. There's some other stuff. There was one song I almost showed you guys, but it's like, you're going to have to listen to it on your own when it comes out, because it's like 7 minutes, and I didn't want it to take up a shitload of time. Because it's really long. It just turned into this really long song for some reason. But it's really good. I mean, I've listened to it a bunch of times. I feel like it's not boring. I hope it's not anyway. I can listen to all 7 minutes of it. I think it's pretty good. But it's long. And it's mostly because it's slow. But it's really heavy. It's just a really slow tempo. I'm trying to think of a song. Have you know Covet by Basement?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's surprising. Okay. It's kind of like that song. It's really good. Surprised you never heard that. That's a great song.
I must listen now.
Yes, you must.
All the sludgy, like slow tempo stuff that I listen to is like ridiculously, what the fuck is this heavy? So
You ever listen to Acid Bath?
yes,
Yeah.
Jezebel's my favorite song by Acid Bath for sure.
I like Bleed Me an Ocean.
Yeah, that one's good too.
Yeah.
I was about to say, don't you say Scream of a Butterfly or whatever. All right.
What do you think you're going to call this new album?
Well, I don't know yet because we were going to originally just release 3 songs and I had a name for it. I figured it was called like Troika or something like that. And it's a Russian word for either it's like a carriage pulled by like 2 horses or something like that or something like that. And then the other definition for it was like a group of 3 people who like conquer the world or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool because eventually we need a 3rd person in our band. It'd be kind of cool to have an album name. I'm like, it's a cool band name too. It'd be a cool band name. So I was like, oh. So for now, that's it. I haven't really come up with anything. I've got, let's see if I can pull it up. I'll show you
Your first album was called Cutter, right?
yeah, this is the initial album art right now.
That's sick.
But I don't know if that's what it's going to end up being. We'll see. I don't know if I really want to try and come up with something else.
I dig the yellow.
Because it takes so long, because I have this app that I use, and it's an AI generated art. And so
Which
you can
one?
type Wonder AI, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
But you can type in whatever, and it will generate an image. And it takes forever to get something specific that you want, just because it's random. But it is crazy, because when I first got that app, like last year when it came out, you type in something like, you could type in like Joe Biden, and it would give you this really weird Picasso painting version of like what maybe Joe Biden might look like. Now, after a year of the AI being able to do its own thing with people just using it constantly, now if you type that in, you get a perfect image of people. So like you could type in like Dave Grohl, and you would get a perfect image of Dave Grohl. It's weird.
There's I forget the name of the Facebook page. But there's some page where they'll throw like random bands playing at random locations, and it always just looks really funny. Like one of them was Cradle of Filth playing at a kindergarten class. Everyone's like got all this death metal makeup on, and then there's just a bunch of kids like.
That's awesome. So speaking of that kind of thing, death kind of stuff.
You want to talk about death?
Sure.
Okay. You want?
I was listening to the episode last week when I was editing the episode. Connor's apocalypse question, the changing the clock and stuff like that. While I was editing it, I was actually I was watching a little bit of Dexter's Laboratory, and I was thinking, I was like, man, I wonder what Dexter's Laboratory or Dexter would look like in like a Mad Max type of environment. And I was just my brain was just going wild with different things for how he could be in the apocalypse. Do you guys think of any old cartoon characters that you could think of that would work perfectly in like a Mad Max type of situation?
The first one that honestly popped in my head, like, because you said Mad Max, I was like, well, it's actually already been done in Space Jam 2, or whatever, with, what's his name? Wile E. Coyote? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, man, Wile E. Coyote would be perfect, because it's a whole desert scene, outside of Wile E. Coyote,
Well, Jackson's thinking, for me, the one that came to mind that I thought would be the most fun would be Courage the Cowardly Dog. Mainly because he's already like afraid of everything, and these guys are chasing him, so he's going to be running. You might have to do something different with the whole how he comes up with solutions, because he normally goes to his computer in the show, and that computer gives him answers and stuff. So maybe you get him some little, I don't know, device that you can use to get that part of it. But I think he'd be a fun time. You could make Eustace the main bad guy, the Immortan Joe or what have you. Uriel could be getting milked back there, or whatever she could do at that point. But if not Courage, then Johnny Bravo would be fun.
You son of a bitch. I was about to say Johnny Bravo.
I bet you were, you punk ass. Just kidding. But yeah, I think, Johnny Bravo with his vanity, it would be fun to, see him up to no good, I
just want to hear all the funny stuff he would say.
Mm-hmm. If it was old Cartoon Network, I bet you could see like a commercial that was spoofing on that, with like Ed, Edd and Eddy as the war boys.
Fukushima Kama Crazy War Boys.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and throw one out there. I would like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Okay.
That would be a good one. I'd just like to see him. It was on the water out here.
The shotgun strapped to his back.
So I guess my question would be, is this like are these characters coming to a live action sense, or is it going to be like a cartoon version of Mad Max?
That's how I thought it was.
Either or.
It would be cartoon version in a live action.
That's
In a live action
Yeah.
like background.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Space Jam style, you know?
that looked the best for sure.
I was kind of thinking of that with Dexter's Lab, because he's already a really good inventor. So he could have some badass looking, car. He could have Dee Dee as the person that's on top of his car playing that sick, guitar shooting out flames. I was thinking of his dad being one of the War Boys and his mom being like Immortan Joe. I always loved Dexter's Laboratory so much, man.
Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey. Yeah, I love Monkey. And
What's
yeah.
Monkey doing?
Monkey, he would probably be the Furiosa character.
Okay, yeah, the real hero.
The real hero of the whole movie. Yeah, he's obviously missing an arm. Did you watch much Dexter's Lab, Keifer?
I watched a little bit of it. I feel like every time I come over here to hang out with you guys to do this, you will ask a question, and it's like, of course, it's the one thing I didn't do. Like last time, it was either last time or the time before. You're like, "What's your favorite anime?" I'm like, "Never watched a bit of any of it." And then I was looking at your questions, and it was like the cartoon question. I was like, and I started thinking about it, I was like, dude, I don't even remember any cartoons. I haven't watched cartoons in so long. I was trying to think of anything, and then I was like, it'd be kind of cheating, but the Vault Boy from Fallout. I always loved watching those little videos and stuff, and I think, it could be cool seeing him in sort of like a leather jacket with the shoulder pad and everything, and like the little shotgun.
Yeah.
Missing an eye with an eye patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Another one just popped in my head. Zim from Invader Zim. I'm strictly thinking just like drop him at the beginning of Mad Max Fury Road. Like that's how I'm kind of like imagining. It's like, all right, if you drop him off right at the beginning of that movie, this is how the movie would play out with this character in it instead. But yeah, I feel like Invader Zim would be a good one.
Let's throw the Angry Beavers in there.
Angry Beavers.
They'll be all up to no good. Dag could be the bad guy. He's the Immortan Joe. And then what's the other one? It's Dag and
Norbit.
Okay.
Norbert.
Something.
Norby.
Whatever the blue-nosed one's name is. Yeah, he could be the good guy.
I was thinking of the kids next door.
Yeah.
I thought about that one too.
They're all cannibals.
They could be the third faction that's on the fucking dirt bikes or whatever,
Yeah.
driving the spiky cars.
The Bullet Farm people, and then what was the other people? The Gastown people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to throw Rocket Power in with those motorcycle dudes too. At this point, we're just trying to cast the movie like with different characters. I guess we do a quick shout out to the Yankees for getting like the first perfect pitch game in like, what did they say, 2012 or something like that?
Yeah, since 2012 is the 24th one.
I'm not going to
Also-
congratulate the Yankees for anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's also
Yeah,
the first one during like this new pitch role that they've been doing. But
All right, so I figured we could go through some Florida Man stories for 2023. I looked through a bunch of them earlier today, and there was a couple that stuck out to me. The first one that I thought was hilarious, a Florida man was arrested for, he got caught he had got an alligator, made the alligator open its mouth and chomp onto a twisted tea, and then was shotgunning the twisted tea with the alligator in his hand, shotgunning it. I was like, this is one of the most insane pictures I've ever seen.
I just want to know, like, how do they catch these people? They just happen to roll up on this guy as he's like holding an alligator up in the air with twisted tea just pouring on his face.
And the funny thing about this was the website was like, this is not the first time we've reported this kind of thing.
yeah. Just go to Florida, pull out a camera, and wait 5 minutes. You'll see something fucking crazy.
Yeah, apparently. As much Florida man stuff as they have. I was reading one, and it was like, Florida man arrested for beating a shark with a hammer and then throwing it back into the ocean.
What?
I'm like, what?
The way that said it makes it sound like the shark came onto our turf and was like, We get your children.
Yeah, that sounds like a
then
self-defense act.
And that dude was like, I got my hammer.
It's like, why do you have a hammer?
I mean, you got to knock that fish out somehow to get it in your boat, right? Yeah. But then you tossed it back in.
Can you imagine like being in jail for that? Like, what are you in here for? I hammered a shark to death.
And yeah, he was actually charged for animal cruelty for doing that with the gator. And it was like a baby gator. It was like a small little baby gator. It was so small.
Yeah, it's not old enough to be drinking twisted tea.
Right.
That's child endangerment right there.
You gotta find
Right.
one of the big gators.
You're not wrong. Florida man charged after allegedly slapping woman's face with pizza.
You got the pizza slap?
Yeah, slapping her in the face with a slice of
Was
pizza.
he charged with assault?
Yeah.
Have a supreme bitch.
The victim told deputies she had been slapped on the left side of her face with a slice of pizza during an argument.
Right-handed.
Right-handed, yep. After Alfonso became upset when she physically disciplined another individual in the home, parentheses, on the bottom area.
Man,
The buttocks.
with a name like Alfonso, like, what did you expect from the guy? You let that dude in your house.
The victim later let deputies inside of her home, where they found pizza sauce on the walls and ceiling of the kitchen area. The affidavit said, reminds me of that time I threw up all over that ceiling.
Pizza sauce can be planted on the wall.
Yeah.
This sounds like a setup.
All she needed was a vial of pizza sauce, and then she could fling that anywhere she wants, man.
Did you ever
Setup.
find the vial?
The vial was in police custody. Now it's nowhere to be found. So
They just need to call the CSI and get like the pizza spatter investigator out there. The sauce spatter.
Someone's gonna be like, "This is lasagna sauce."
Pizza sauce.
This came from a lasagna.
Oh, that's awesome.
Promise you, man. Just get some dude named Giovanni down there. He'll find out for you.
And the last one I had here, Fort Myers man arrested after disrespectfully consuming key lime pie.
What?
How do you disrespectfully consume a key lime pie?
Well,
Through the anus?
It was so good, and he just didn't wait. There was like a contest going on, and he just couldn't wait, and he ate the pie early. Yeah, someone called the cops on him for disrespectfully eating a key lime pie.
That is crazy.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
is that an April
Yo.
Fool's joke?
We had,
Nope.
we had a pie contest, and that dude's eating his pie early. Well, this is grounds for going to prison. So I think someone better call the cops. Should we just disqualify him? No. Article 18-A
The
of Florida law.
Constitution.
A Florida law states that don't give gators ice twisted teas and don't eat pie disrespectfully. And what that dude did was disrespectful.
Yeah. So Keifer, at work recently, you've been talking to me a lot about Starfield. So part of the reason I had you on the podcast is I wanted to get some of this Starfield talk out of you.
Yeah.
So break it down. What do you want to talk about, man?
I don't know. Like initially, I don't remember when it was. A couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago, they came out with like a trailer they showed at one of the Summer of Games things, and I watched it. I was like, this does not look very good.
Yeah.
And I was just like not excited about it at all, so I kind of just forgot about it. And then, what was it, like 3 weeks ago now, they did the Summer of Games thing,
Yep.
and I was watching the Microsoft conference and waiting for information on State of Decay 3 because that's all I care about. And there was nothing. And I get to the end of the Microsoft thing, and I was like, well, that sucks. There was some cool games, though. And then it went straight into the Starfield Direct, and I was like, I guess I'll watch this. And I started watching it, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. It looks a lot better than it did. And then I kept watching it, and I was like, wow. And then I watched the whole 45 minutes, and I was like, Holy shit, I'm so excited for this game now.
Same.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really
And
good.
I feel like Todd Howard did some more interviews. He did one with IGN, and they did another one with like Something Funny podcast, talking
Kinda
about
Funny?
kind of funny podcast, kind of talking more about things that people wanted to know. And like some of the stuff people were disappointed about, like I guess people are mad about the 30 frames on consoles. Don't play on console. I don't know. I don't feel like 30 frames is that big of a deal either for a game like that.
Right.
But I don't notice it as much as me and Kyle have had this conversation a lot. I don't really notice frame rates, I feel like, as much. But and then like people were worried about the 1,000 planets thing, and I was too. And whenever I talked to Steven about it, like a couple of years ago, whenever they said there was going to be like 1,000 planets or whatever, I was like, I'd be happy if 10 of them had stuff on it, and the other, 900 whatever were just empty.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just leave it open for people modding the game. And that's kind of, I guess, what the plan is, except it's 100. So, like, I guess they said like 10% of the planets will have life on them. So, basically, 100 of them will have creatures and people and stuff. And then the other 900 will be empty, like with materials and stuff on them. There'll be stuff to do, I guess. The planets are like stitched together using procedural generation. And then there's handcrafted stuff that is put on the maps. I don't know if that's like they specifically put handcrafted stuff on the procedurally generated map, or if that's a part of the procedural stitching together, if there's handcrafted things that the game pulls from and just places, because there was a part in one of the trailers they showed where it was like the same spot but two different perspectives, and there was a different building there whenever they came around the rock. It was different than the first time. So I don't know if that means if me and you go to the same place, if there'll be something different. I don't know how that's going to work, but sounds cool.
Yeah, I was impressed last time with and a little bit of this is Starfield from the makers of Fallout and Skyrim and Oblivion. Bethesda, same people. But I was actually stoked about the gunplay. I thought the actual gun shooting looked good.
Yep, looks like there's sprinting and sliding, which is cool. So it looks like it might be a little bit faster. And there's like a jetpack, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It does look way better. Because I remember going from Fallout 3 to Fallout 4. That was huge. It was way better in Fallout 4, and this looks even better than that. So, I don't know what they did, but it looks like they finally maybe fixed their first-person shooter mechanics. Because they've been pretty bad.
Didn't they say this has been in development for 7 years? Is that what they said, or?
Yeah. I think they said they started it after Fallout 4 came out, but then they kind of slowed down on it because they were releasing 76, and then after 76 came out, they just started working on only that. And they had like a few people that were doing Fallout 76, like updates or whatever. So, sounds cool. There's already people putting out all sorts of just over-analyzing everything, and because I'm who I am, I can't not watch it. I'll be like scrolling through YouTube, and it's like, check out this new thing we found in the corner of the screen, and I'm like, oh, okay. But the ship building looks cool. I don't know if you saw that.
Mm-hmm,
That looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The adoring fan, if you played Oblivion, that was pretty funny. So there was like some dude that would follow you around after you got done at the arena or whatever. He would just like constantly talk to you and be annoying. And then they added like a trait in Starfield that is essentially the adoring fan. He'll randomly show up and give you gifts and stuff, but he's really annoying, I guess. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Like, what's the thing you're most looking forward to in it?
I think what I'm most looking forward to is I've been just waiting for somebody to make a proper sci-fi game that is not Mass Effect.
Mass Effect 2?
Because Mass Effect is good, but the thing I don't like about Mass Effect is it's like fantasy sci-fi. I want something like what Starfield's bringing, which is like somewhat kind of realistic. It's more like, well, they called it NASA punk or whatever. It just feels a little more real. And then something like I've tried play Star Citizen a ton of times. I have that game. I've played it tons since like 2017, since it's been updating. And it's cool, but it's a simulator game. So it's like there's only so much you can take, especially once you have kids and you have no time. Those games are like impossible to play because they just take up too much time. So I've been waiting for a good sci-fi game, and this looks like it could be it. You know, there's things that maybe would be cooler. It sounds like you're not going to be able to like fly from the atmosphere and land on a planet, I don't care. If you just click on the planet and your thing lands automatically, that doesn't really... That stuff is just like... How many times are you going to fly into a planet and it's going to be cool? The first 10 times you do it, and then after that, it's kind of a pain in the ass, I could tell you, because I've played a ton of Star Citizen. It's really cool the first 3 or 4 times, then after that, you're like, wish I could just auto land.
You'd have to think there's going to be fast travel and stuff, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of that you would just skip anyway. Even if you could fly straight into the planet, you would skip it to fast travel so you wouldn't have to do it. So I think what they're doing is going to work well.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't think you need that for the game to work.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move into Yo Dude. Check this out.
Yo, dude. Hey, yo, what's up? Check this out. Yo, dude.
Yo, dude, check this out. I've been trying to build an AR-15 for the past few months. And I've been working on it's a retro build is what people call it. It's essentially it's 90s kind of gun building. So it's instead of having all the cool rails and everything all over your gun where you can put any kind of anything on it, it's more of what you would see from dudes in the Gulf War, stuff like that. Older M16 style rifles is kind of what it looks like.
Like a wooden.
Well, it's not wood.
holster
It's all polymer stuff, but it's just the old M16s that have the plastic handguard. It's really long and it's got the little carry handle on it and stuff. And then the full stock, it doesn't have a collapsible stock. But I've been wanting something like that for a while, so I finally finished it. Pretty much. I just got to get a flashlight for it, and then it's done. But
Pretty
it's pretty
excited?
cool. Yeah. I'll have to send you a picture of it. I don't think I have one, but it's turned out pretty cool. I shot it the other day. I had to zero the iron sights because I hadn't done that, and now I need to go zero the scope. But it's pretty cool. AR-15s always have surprisingly way less recoil than you'd think.
I don't know. I've only ever shot one weapon in my life. That was a Connor's rifle.
No longer mine. It's back. My dad owns that again.
Oh, your dad bought it back?
Yeah.
That SKS.
SKS.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got one of those. Those are cool. That was my first gun that I bought. When I was 18, my friend Dakota, when I was in high school, was like, "We're going to go make you a real American." And took me to a gun store. He's like, "We're not leaving here until you buy a gun." And I was like, okay.
Then we went down the street and there was a really rusty car. We just started shooting it. It was the 90s. That's what you could do back then.
We drank 20 Bud Lights back to back to back. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yo, dude, check this out. Upon Harry Houdini's death, his magic equipment was inherited by his brother Theodore, on the condition that it be burned and destroyed upon Theodore's death. Instead, the equipment ended up in the Houdini Magical Hall of Fame, a museum which burned down in 1995.
Damn. Houdini did it from the grave, son.
Yep.
All right, check this one out. Yo, dude, check this out. The largest weight ever lost by anyone ever is by a man named Khalid bin Mosun Shar, who lost a total of 1,195 pounds. He started at 1,340 pounds.
What?
Oh my.
And he ended at 150 pounds. And he's also listed as the second heaviest human ever at his heaviest.
The second heaviest?
The second heaviest human being ever at their heaviest.
Dang.
Wow.
That is literally hold on. I'm going to Google something real quick. I wonder how much a bear fucking weighs.
This guy was the size of a bear.
You gotta think a bear weighs maybe 500 pounds.
It's pretty amazing that the human body can even stand that much weight and be alive.
That dude was literally bigger than a fucking bear. On average, an adult female brown bear weighs between 300 to 800 pounds, and an adult male between 400 to 1,200 pounds.
Damn.
Holy crap.
And he
But
started
that
at
is-
1,300, bro.
Brown bears like fish.
Yeah.
But he probably couldn't move around like a bear.
Muscle and fat don't
he
equate.
probably couldn't move around like a bear. I think you could jog away from that dude pretty easily. You could probably just fast walk, get away pretty quickly. Unless you're going downhill, he might be able to roll and catch up to you. But that's a big old guy, man.
That is wild.
Do you think he was able to like fly off cliffs like a squirrel suit? You know, after he's done.
Oh my gosh, probably. If I had to
He
guess,
probably had all that loose skin.
He had the option for sure.
he probably had like a wooden system set up in his arm flaps and like as a support system.
And unfortunately, my neck does look a little bit like a vagina.
They seem looking like Dracula, you know, for sure.
Right.
Yo, dude, check this out. Pickleball injuries may cost Americans $377 million in healthcare costs this year, adding up to 5 to 10% of total unexpected medical costs.
Pickleball?
Pickleball, man.
Mainly in seniors because they go too hard in their old age.
Every
But-
time we play disc golf at the course that has the pickleball course, you see a bunch of old people out there, and it's like, man, that's a lot of cutting.
It's like giant ping pong, right?
Yeah.
That's what my parents
A lot
are. My dad and my stepmom are into is pickleball. I'm like, yeah, it's a total old person sport.
According to this article, pickleball had grown to 3.5 million players in 2019, 8.9 million in 2022, and will jump to 22 million this year. So from 8.9 million last year to 22 million this year. That's over double its size.
A lot of people retiring.
Yeah, a lot of old people going to be playing pickleball this year.
When tennis is just a little too much.
There's going to be so many pickleball courts in Florida, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They already are, bro.
The pickleball state.
Yeah. Florida man plays pickleball.
With a gator. That's how that's supposed to end.
All right. Well, Keifer, thank you for being on episode 93 of Crashing with Friends.
That's wild.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff.
7 more. Or, I don't know how the math works. Is it 7 more? Yeah, it's 7 more, right? Yeah. 93 plus
Closing
7.
in.
Yeah, that's 100.
So
Yeah,
how
right.
many years is it now?
We're coming up on 2 years,
2 years.
in August.
We're definitely past a year.
I will say that it is impressive that you guys have done this for this long, like consistently.
What's more impressive is that these two guys keep showing up every week. Because I will be here by myself recording a podcast forever if I have to, but it's impressive that I can get these guys every week to show up.
Yeah, I was talking about that at work today. I was like, it's crazy. Every week they come up with new stuff to talk about, and it's always good.
Wouldn't say that.
Okay, how about this? It's always interesting. It's always interesting. Is that a fair assessment?
75% of the time, it's pretty good. There are some duds, but yeah, at least once an episode, you're going to laugh pretty fucking
Hopefully
hard.
once at least.
At least one time.
60% of the time, it's hilarious every time.
It's passing.
Right. If you don't walk out of the episode with the laughing one time, then we failed.
Right.
You gotta laugh pretty fucking hard once. But yeah, we definitely thank everybody who listens, man. And thank you for being on this. This is the 3rd time, right?
Yep.
That you've been on the podcast.
I need to do it more. Stop being lazy. I've just made so many excuses.
Dude, you've got a freaking...
Kyle comes up to me all the time where he's like, when are you coming back on the podcast? And I'm like, I don't know. I want
I'm
to,
mainly
but-
in just trying to freaking drip feed new music out of you, dog, because I love new music. So anytime I can get you on the podcast to show us new music is just rad.
I need to start working on it. I've got my second computer now. I just need to put Windows on it and then download all the music stuff back onto it because I wanted to separate my music stuff from my gaming computer because it was going to be too much. So once I get that computer set up, which hopefully will be soon if I stop being lazy, then I'll start doing some new stuff, and I've got some ideas.
I would love to see you two collab on something, man.
I'd be down.
Yeah,
I would love to see you guys collab on something.
be cool.
J. K.
All right, we'll call
J-
ourselves
J&K?
we'll call ourselves JKLOL.
But yeah, that'd be rad. I would love that. Is there any chance we could ever get Kanan on here?
I'm sure there is. I just need to get a hold of him. He's got lots of free time. from what I understand.
When do you realistically think you're going to release your album, your new EP?
I'm going to say probably the third week of July.
Really?
So probably about 3 weeks.
Come
Dude.
back on the week before you're gonna really
For real, come back. Try to talk to Kanan, see if he can come on the week before the album comes out. Because I'd like to hear another song or two off that album.
Yeah, I need I think right now he's mixing, going over everything one more time just to make sure everything is mixed properly, as well as he can mix it, which is pretty damn good. I suck at mixing.
I also hate mixing, man.
Yeah, dude, when I first started working on that first album I was doing, the songs sounded okay, and I was like, yeah, I don't really care. I just want to put them out there so people can listen to them. I don't care if they're like the most amazing thing ever because I suck at it. And then I got like 2 or 3 songs in, and Kanan's like, I want to help. And I was like, okay, you want to play bass? And he's like, yeah, because he's really good at bass. And then he's like, well, I can try mixing it. And I sent it to him, and I was like, wow, that's really good. And then he's just gotten better and better and better. And he enjoys doing it. So I just get to do the fun part, which I think is fun, is playing all the stuff and recording it. And then I just send him stuff, and then he sends it back to me, and it sounds way better. I'll send him stuff thinking it's going to sound awful. I don't think my singing sounds very good. I don't think the guitars sound balanced. I send it to him. He'll send it back to me, and it's like, wow.
Wow, that's pretty rad.
So he's really good at it.
Collaboration is the key to any good band.
And I'm glad that he's good at it, and I'm glad that he likes to do it because it makes it way easier for me to not have to think about it. I can just like play. So I'm glad he enjoys it. At least I hope he does. He tells me he does. Hopefully he's not like lying to me and just doing it.
He wouldn't do that.
I hope
Yeah, that's not the Kanan I know.
Yeah, Kanan, he's a good guy.
Yeah, Kanan, he's got your back, Keifer. Trust me. He's got your best interests in his interests.
Yeah, he's really good too. I'm excited to show you guys some more stuff. It's cool. He does some really cool, like, almost, it reminds me of like 9 Inch Nails kind of. It's like that kind of electronic stuff.
Nice.
So there's like guitars mixed in with like electronic stuff.
Kind of like industrial sounding.
Yeah,
I love that
it's
stuff.
really cool. I like it. He sends me stuff like that all the time, just like little 30-second things that he's made, and it's like, this is so good. And he's like, you think so? I'm like, yeah, dude. It's awesome.
Wow.
So it'll be
rad.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
I'd love to have you guys on before the new album comes out. It's so sick. But do you have any words of wisdom for us before we get out of here?
What do you call a T-Rex that sells guns? Small arms dealer.
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
Thanks, Keifer. And thank you for watching Crashing with Friends this week. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And we can see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Crashing with Friends.
Podcast.